everyone and welcome back to Age of Nagash, which is a channel dedicated to Age of Sigmar, and in this video we are covering more news for Warhammer community, all about Age of Sigmar and 3rd edition. So I know this video is a little bit late, essentially being busy all day, haven't been able to do it a bit earlier, but I know there has been a Warhammer community article gone up telling us more rules about what we can expect for heroes and monsters in Warhammer Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. Haven't read to see what these rules are yet. Again, I haven't read through this article, so I don't know if you guys haven't already. But if you have, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you haven't, make sure you stick around to see what changes we are going to have come to heroes and monsters in 3rd edition. It could be something just as simple as they say heroes is going to be more heroic and monsters are going to be more monstrous. And kind of how they've been doing a bit lately when they've been telling us about the massive new rule changes. But we will wait and see, shall we? Or, you know what, we won't wait, we'll go straight into it. So it says, how Warhammer Age of Sigmar New Edition turns monsters and heroes up to an 11. So they have this hashtag, don't they? That's obviously going to be a thing. But it says, Warhammer has always been a game about larger-than-life champions and horrifying beasts ducking it out on the battlefield, or the field of battle even. Sure, there are plenty of troops who do most of the real work, but the big duels and epic throwdowns make for nail-biting games. I do have to agree, because it does always feel like, you know, the tabletop series, doesn't really matter if it's Warhammer or whatever, but it feels like if there's like a box set, shall we say, or like the good guys will have like a really good hero, and the bad guys will have like a real monstrous-looking character model. But it says, make your heroes more heroic and deal some monstrous... Basically what I just said, isn't it? Okay, but you know, to be fair, you know, I'm going to skip to this. Okay, no, it looks like there's text in this rule, so there is going to be some, you know, some meat to this rather than it just being words. So, well, it's words, but you know what I mean. The upcoming edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar carries on fine traditions of a star-studded armies and then cranks it all the way up with heroic actions and monstrous rampages. Now that you know a bit more, or a bit about the setting and the new rule set in the core rulebook, we can start getting into some of the finer details. So, the first thing it's going to talk to us is about heroes. It says heroic action. So, these are a totally new type of ability used in each and every hero phase by both players, or all of them if you're playing in a big multiplayer battle brawl. Cool. And then heroic actions bring fresh tactical opportunities and keep the action flowing for everyone involved. Which is going to be quite interesting because, I mean, we'll read what it says, but I just feel like when they say there's a lot of interactions you can do in your opponent's turn, although that sounds very cool and very interesting because it means you're not standing there for, you know, 20 minutes sometimes, depending on their army. I feel like this could slow down the game quite a bit because if your opponent is, you know, doing everything they do in their turn, and obviously they take a bit of time to think out what they want to do, what's their plan, and then every time they're about to do something, you might be able to interject and go, oh, actually, I'm going to stop you doing that, or it's not even that, it might just be, actually, I'm going to thinking about stopping you doing that, and then it's like, now that I've thought about it, I won't stop you doing that. So then they try and do it, and they do it, and then the next thing they try and do, you go, right, I'm going to probably... No, actually, you crack on, you do what you want to do. And then the third thing they try and do, you go, yeah, okay, I'm going to stop. And it just feels like it could slow things down. It might just be like teething problems. And, you know, once we're a few months into it, it just feels like second nature. But I feel like it could slow the game down quite a bit. And I'm someone who generally takes quite a long time to play my games anyway, because I chat to my opponent a lot and all that sort of thing. But, yes, I feel like things that make the game longer are probably not a good thing. But let's see what it says, shall we? So these rules are different from command abilities. Think of them as extra freebies to make your heroes more like the ones you read about in your favourite Warhammer fiction. So it says heroes and heroic actions. So a unit with the hero keyword on its war scroll is a hero. At the start of the hero phase, you can carry out one heroic action from the table below. With one friendly hero, the effect of the heroic action is treated in the same way as the effect of an ability for rule purposes. Okay, so there's like a list they can choose. Reminds me like when you have like the options available for like command abilities in General's Handbook as an example, but this doesn't cost a command point, so that's cool. But it says Heroic actions. So the first one is Heroic Leadership. So pick one friendly hero and roll a dice. Add 2 to the roll if your general has been slain. But on a 4+, you receive 1 command point that can only be spent during that turn to allow that hero to issue a command. I think that's pretty cool. So when it says to issue a command, like a command ability, that might be changing the name to command, who knows. But it means a command ability, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a nice thing, a nice little freebie on a 50-50. But you know, if your general's dead, you get it on a 2+. So yeah, that's cool for extra command points. And then the next one we've got is Heroic Willpower. So pick one friendly hero that is not a wizard. If it is the enemy hero phase, that hero can attempt to unbind one spell in that phase as if they were a wizard. Oh, pardon me. But it says, if it is your hero phase, that hero can attempt to dispel one endless spell in that phase as if they were a wizard. You can still only attempt to unbind or dispel the same spell or endless spell once in the same manner. So there's no way to get around that, and that sounds like it's definitely a thing going forward as well. Like no multiple tries to unbind things or unbound things in Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, which I think is good. Yeah, that's more of a situational one, isn't it? It's good to try and mind your opponent if you, especially haven't really got any unbinding in your army. Like there's a lot of armies, or like I know there are ways for these certain armies to get it, but you know, Fire Slayers, Cowden Overlords. I know there's ways for them to do unbinding, but it's not just like throughout the entire army, so it could be useful for them. And then to get rid of like annoying endless spells is useful as well. But I prefer the Heroic Leadership. But again, like, you know, this is where this is useful because there's a selection here. Like one of these is going to be useful, presumably for whatever situation you're in, which is, you know, it's like a Swiss Army knife, isn't it? So their finest hour is the third one, and it says pick one friendly hero and add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made by that hero until the end of that turn. No, I'm yours so much, guys. I do apologise. Probably because it's quite late. And it says you can add 1 to. I'll just start the one from the beginning, shall I? So the finest hour, pick one friendly hero and add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made by that hero until the end of that turn, and add 1 to the save rolls for attacks that target that hero until the end of that turn. You cannot carry out this heroic action with the same hero more than once in the same battle. Yes, I reckon this is, like, depending on the hero, is the best one out of the lot. So I can see why you can't, you know, make your I don't know, Vampire Lawn Zombie Dragon a 2-up save sort of thing forever, effectively, and +1 to wound. Interesting, does it affect the mount? Because it says hero, it kind of feels like it's not intended to affect the mount, but how I'm reading it, it should affect the mount. So that's pretty cool from what I've seen. Obviously, you guys know more, let me know in the comments. But no, so yeah, I quite like that. Or, you know, Nagash having a 2-up save, re-rolling 1 without being Immortus Praetorians and stuff. So yeah, there's lots of... Okay, so it's looking at, like, when the reason I've paused in my thinking is because I'm thinking, like, you know, Nagash is ridiculously expensive in points now, but there's things like this that can help him out, but it still doesn't justify his points increase. But it's useful to know that you have got these options available to you, and they're not just crap you're never going to use, because Games Workshop seems to quite oftenly, not all the time, but quite oftenly write things that are either stupidly good or stupidly annoying, in the sense that you've actually had to read the rule. It's a waste of time. And these look pretty nice, to be honest. So the last one is Heroic Recovery. So pick one friendly hero and make a Heroic Recovery roll by rolling 2d6. If the roll is less than that hero's bravery characteristic, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to that hero. Got over your card? Oh, fuck's sake. But the next thing is, this is if the roll is equal to the hero's bravery characteristic, you can heal 1 wound allocated to that hero. Okay, so on average, your is less. That's weird. They all normally ask you to try and beat it, and most heroes have high bravery. So, sorry for the grots, but most other heroes have high bravery. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Just a way to heal. Yeah, so that's all of these have got a use. I like them. The Heroic Willpower is probably the less useful one, but again, situational could be really good for you depending on the situation. But the finest hour, or their finest hour for, you know, a combat oriented hero. Heroic Leadership, I would then say, is my second favourite. Heroic Recovery, and then Heroic Willpower. I think they all got uses. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's a nice thing there. And you can use it in your opponent's turn as well, which is quite good. Because, like, let's say you're down a command point, you're not going to get a command point until your next hero phase. Your opponent wins the priority. They take the priority, let's say. You've got a way here to try and get you a command point, but I think second edition, if you go second in a battle round, you get a command point as well. Something like that. So not really too much of a problem, but no, so lots of ways to get command points. That's cool. So the next thing says, want to make sure your champion comes out on top in the important duel. Invoke the finest hour so they hit harder. Perhaps you need to... Jesus Christ, no recording a video this time again. I don't know. I don't even know why. It's not in that time. Anyway, so perhaps you need your last wizard to stay alive until they can cast that devastating endless spell. Use Heroic Recovery to keep them in the fight. These abilities may seem subtle, but they make your heroes feel that bit more heroic, and they don't cost any command points to use. So that is very, yeah, that's cool. It doesn't really seem it takes that much time. I mean, it will add time, but you know, it doesn't seem to be that bad. You know, think ahead basically if you want to use them. And then the next thing it says is more command points. Picture of the Lumineth there, that's ironic. But it says, with the updated rules and the new edition, it's a little harder to decide if you want to go first after winning the priority roll thanks to the bonus command point going to the player who goes second. Fantastic. That's what I was mentioning, but let's see exactly what it says. See if I was right or wrong. So also they've got a number for all the rules as well, which I think is very useful. So this is for anyone who's interested. 4.1.1. So starting command point. So after determining who will take which turn, the player who will take the first turn, trying to receive that yawn, receives 1 command point, and the player who will take the second turn receives 2 command points. Well, that's pretty. Because if you did that and you do Heroic Legion, you could get 3 command points for going second. So if you look at command abilities going forward, and let's say they don't seem as strong as they used to be, let's say it's an updated War Scroll or something, then it kind of answers why. I mean, when I've been playing like Gravelords on Tabletop Simulator to get a feel for them and stuff, so I can do a video for you guys, I feel like that I really like them and stuff, but I'm burning quite a few command points quite quickly. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting more command points. That's cool. And I think it's good because some armies can just generate so many of them. Some armies do really struggle. So I think by just giving every army loads, essentially, I think that's better. Because, you know, when you've got, let's say, an army that can get a ridiculous amount of command points. Let's say they're on like 8 command points. There's only so many things they can use them for. But the next thing it says is you'll still earn another point if your general's on the battlefield. Bring your total to either 2 or 3 points for most of the battle before taking any other abilities into account. Those crucial command abilities are also more versatile. Okay, so we've got some command abilities coming up, but that means when I say that you could, if you go second, you could try and have 3 command points. If you got your general, you can have 4. Like, so that's huge. Yeah, so that's really, really quite cool. I like that at the moment. The next one is rule 6.1: using command abilities. To use a command ability, you must spend 1 command point, pick 1 friendly model to issue the command, and pick 1 friendly unit to receive the command ability unless noted otherwise. The models that can issue commands and the units that can issue them are as follows. So unit champions can issue commands to their own units. That's cool. So it kind of reminds me of like what the Ostrich Brain Reapers has, but they've almost like the Ostrich Brain Reapers was like a test bed for that system, and then they liked it and it worked, and I really like it when I use it. And then they're going to push it forward, so that's cool. I like it. It then says heroes can issue commands to units that are wholly within 12 inches of them. So, just thinking while you're in, does that mean we've got no more command abilities that are more than 12 inches? Or no more command abilities that are less than 12 inches? Wholly within. Because that's kind of what this is sounding like. This is, you know, summarising command abilities and generalising them in this frame, which I'm not really too sure, but let's read there's two more bullet points. So, generals can issue command abilities to units that are wholly within 18 inches of them. So, and then totems can do this wholly within 18 inches of them. So just thinking about it, I feel like that sounds like that's just standard for all command abilities. Maybe it might just be the ones that you get in the core rulebook of the General's Handbook that's coming out. You know, forward to victory and all the potential inspiring presence or whatever we're gonna get or our attack. You know, these things could change. We could get different stuff, and this could just be for them. But it's, and obviously this is just a snippet of what the rules are in the book, but kind of makes it sound like it's, you know, for everyone. But what makes that interesting is you've got, let's say Neferata, her command ability, I think it's called Dark Mist, or that might be the name of the spell, but I think her command ability is called Dark Mist. Me, enemy -1 to hit, basically, for enemies that are targeting your units that are wholly within 12 inches of Neferata. Let's say Neferata is your general. Although it says 12 inches on the war scroll, does it then just bump up to wholly within 18 inches of her rather than wholly within 12 inches? Why can't I speak today? So that would make things quite interesting, and then that would definitely mean there's more tactics in who you're making your general and everything else. So yeah, I'm interested to know more. It says generals and totems have a longer, and also just to say with totems, that's nice because totems is a keyword I noticed a long time ago, but it didn't really have much relevance at all. Like, I might be wrong, but I think the Orc War Clan's Iron Jaws, what the hell is that guy's name with the two sticks? Why can't I remember? Don't know. I want to call my ward answer. That's really annoying me. I'm sure I'm getting this up. This is annoying me far too much for it to let it go. Right. What is his bloody name? I don't know. I really like him as well. And he gives everyone +1 damage. I'm sure you guys might be letting me know this in the chat when this goes up. What the hell? It's very annoying. Very annoying. The War Chanter. Don't know why I'm saying War Dancer, but potentially he dances when he chants. So we could take it with that. But anyway, so I think he was a totem. As an example, it might not even be. It might just be a waste of time. But and there's other totems, you know, blood creators and everything else, and you sort of like saw this totem. Sometimes they didn't really do anything because they were a totem, or I think the War Chanter might have been a priest. I think that's what it was instead. But anyway, you have all these characters with the totem keyword, unless they've got like artifacts that are specific for totems and stuff in their battle totems. It never really meant anything having a totem, so that's interesting. I do like that because, you know, big banners, all that, and there's obviously more banners coming out all the time by the looks of things. So it then says, now we've had a look at the new abilities for your Indomitable heroes. Another sign the Indomitable box set coming out for Age of Sigmar. Let's see how your monsters are getting even more smashy. And that's something we all want, right? So, a Monstrous Rampages. So, what was the first one? The first one was called Heroic Actions. And then we've got Monstrous Rampages. There we go. So it says some armies are less about noble warriors and more about unleashing slavering beasts or demonic entities upon their foes. If you like your armies to be suitably monstrous, you're going to like this new addition too. As every single charge phase, each player's monsters can go on a monstrous rampage. We're talking stomping on enemies, smashing terrains to ruins, roaring really loud. You know, all the classic monster stuff, really. It's basically King Kong at that point, isn't it? So it then says for rule 21.1 is Monstrous Rampage. So at the end of the charge phase, each player can carry out one Monstrous Rampage from the table below with each friendly monster. It then says the player whose turn is taking place carries out all of their Monstrous Rampages first. The same player cannot carry out the same Monstrous Rampage more than once per phase. The effect of the Monstrous Rampage is treated in the same way as the effect of the ability for all purposes. So it's cool that you can do it for each monster. So, okay, so you have 4, so it's like the heroic action stuff. So if you've got more than 4 monsters, you know, tough shit, you can't do one for every monster. But 4 monsters should cover most people quite nicely. So let's see, because we really like the hero ones, or at least I did. So let's see if we like these ones. So Monstrous Rampages, we've got Roar. So pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. On a 3+, that unit cannot issue or receive command abilities in the following combat phase. That's really cool. Yeah, I like that. Definitely. There's loads of... Because I'm thinking like... So this can be in either one's charge phase that you do this, or the end of the charge phase, I think it is. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's your combat phase, which means you get to choose who fights first, basically. In the sense of, if the enemy's got like a really good command ability that you want taken out, but it's your turn anyway, you're just going to kill the enemy hero, hopefully, and just remove the command ability that way, which could, I don't know, give everyone +1 attack if they're within 12 inches of him, etc. So by doing this though, it's a way to shut that off. So yeah, I really like that. It's on a 3+ as well. Definitely see this being useful. So yeah, massive fan of that. And then number 2, we've got Stomp. So pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model that is not a monster and roll a dice. On a 2+, so sorry guys about the yawning. On a 2+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Yeah, I mean that's better than my, you know, Corn Dragon charge ability, which I will find most ways in most videos a way to be able to complain about how underpowered that dragon is for its points. And the good thing is though is that this is for a monster. That's a monster. I can make it better via these, so that's cool. Yeah, so this it's just like if your monster didn't already have like a charge ability that's something similar, there you go. But even if it does, that could be 2 lots of D3 damage. 2 lots of D3 mortal wounds into the enemy before you even attack them. So that's pretty good. And then the next one is like more boring, but pretty good. The next one we've got is Titanic Jewel. So pick one enemy monster within 3 inches of this model. Add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by this monster that target that enemy monster, until the end of the following combat phase. Yeah, I think that's cooler. I mean, say we want, the other stuff might be better, but you know, Titanic Jewel, what a great name. We've got a Chimera going against a Cockatrice, I think they're called. So that's cool. So that's just for Beast of Chaos, this one, but no, so that's cool. I like that. And then number 3, we have Smash to Rubble. So pick one faction terrain feature or defensible terrain feature within 3 inches of this model and roll a dice. On a 3+, that terrain feature is demolished. If it was defensible and the scenery rules on its war scroll cannot be used for the rest of the battle if it was a faction terrain feature. So the little foxy people from Lumineth aren't the only ones who can do this now. So I really like that. Yeah, I quite like this. I think it's got use. Something I just want to point out quickly is I know, like I said, that's looks like a Chimera, and then that looks like a Cockatrice, and then that could just be a Gargansphere that hasn't trimmed its toenails. But what I will say is that we've got a dragon here and a dragon here, and Kragnus fights a lot of dragons and has nearly made the dragons go extinct, or the drakes go extinct in Age Sigmar. Could that mean we'll get a new dragons? Because there's a dragon here, dragon there. Don't recognise what that dragon's meant to be. It's not a Star Drake. It's not any of the others. This one, could argue it's a Star Drake, but no. Like I think the arms going the legs going the wrong way. And again, this is just little pictures, so it might not mean anything. But I will speculate the shit out of this. It means we'll get a new dragon. I love dragons, and I hope we get a dragon army. That would be awesome. The next thing it says is if you have more than 4 monsters, you will have to be strategic about which of your vast horde you send on a monstrous rampage, and you can only carry out each ability once per phase, like I mentioned. Might as well just edit all this out, but I'm not going to. These rampages make monster-heavy armies a lot of fun to play, and they're potentially pretty catastrophic for your opponents. Yeah, I think the main thing that would affect your opponent is the first one, Raw, stopping your opponent using a command ability. That's probably the most powerful, like overall. Because I know the +1 to hit and stuff's great. Because, you know, you can make... bear in mind, Nagash, for example, is a hero and a monster. So you do the finest arrow on him. And then you do Titanic Duel. We send him up against an enemy monster. Let's say it's Archaon. Why not? Nagash is now +1 to hit and wound. Rerolling 1 to hit. So you can make him. I can see. I'm not saying he's worth his points, but you can see why certain characters have gone up in points. I still don't know why Alera has gone up in points. That's generally a crime against humanity at this point. But I can see how heroes can start to get a lot better. And this is just, within a few minutes of thinking this through. I'm sure you guys have got loads of examples. And also let me know, like I say, in the comments your thoughts about all this. But let me know what heroes or monsters on combos you've got for them, you've got planned with these new rules. Let me know that in the comments as well, as that'd be cool to hear about your own sort of personal strategies and stuff you're already sort of like thinking in your head for when this happens. It then says, between heroic actions, loads of command points to spend, and Monstrous Rampages, your games are about to feel more cinematic and thrilling. Great care has been taken to make sure both players have things to do in each phase, so there's less downtime while you wait for the other army to move and shoot and so on. I agree, less downtime, but it will stretch the games out a bit longer, but hopefully not too much longer. I think I've had 2,000 points of Age of Sigmar games that have gone on for like 5 hours, plus before, and I think for me, and obviously you're having a great time. Ideally, if you're like 4 hours in and you're having a great time, I don't know why you're still playing. But I think the ideal time for me is like within 3 hours for a 2,000 point game. I know, I think on paper it says it's meant to take 2.5 hours, but I think 3 hours is quite optimistic for me anyway. And that's the sort of time I like. So if this sort of stuff makes my usual games go like 4 hours, I won't be a fan of that. But if it's only like an extra 10 minutes you work out or something, yeah, that's cool. And I agree, it does seem like, they're trying to make things, more powerful. I'm not saying these things are going to absolutely change how everything works, but the amount of command abilities, command points you can get certainly will change a lot of stuff. But what I do like is it feels like, I don't want to use their phrase when they say turn up to 11, because maybe not that, but it just makes things a bit more punchy, a bit more powerful. And it makes monsters feel more monstrous, because I'm fed up of my Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon charges into the enemy. And it's like, I bet the Zombie Dragon on the charge, the impact damage is huge. It's like, nah, the Vampire's Lance gets, it used to be +1 damage, whatever it is now. But the Zombie Dragon, just nothing, no impact damage or anything. So I'm glad that we're getting things like this, God, that terrain piece the enemy's got's really annoying. Why don't I just smash it? Yeah, great point, smash it. So I do like this stuff. I think it's good. It just gives sometimes you look at heroes and you go, I'd like to take a bit. It just feels like it's missing that thing. Maybe between maybe it's a hero and a monster, obviously, then you've got 2 cherubs to choose from. But even if it's just a hero, hopefully one of these things will just make you go, yeah, that's just that bit. I don't know, I like someone, but he's just not very survivable. Heroic recovery could help you there. Fire Star, obviously, there's loads of stuff that can help you. And because you've got so many command points, when it says your games are about to feel more cinematic and thrilling, I agree, because obviously you'll be able to just do more stuff, and your stuff overall just become more powerful by the sounds of things. You'll be able to use more abilities, help your army, kill the opponent, they'll be doing the same thing, or help you try and catch more objectives, everything else, that it will make your army stronger, but it'll make your opponent's army stronger as well. So I feel like it kind of balances itself out. Obviously some armies are going to take more advantage of this than others, but overall we've got access to the same stuff, so it should be roughly about the same. I'm interested to know for Ostrich Bone Reapers though, is they don't use command points, and as an Ostrich Bone Reaper player, I hope this means they get more relentless discipline points. Otherwise, what the fuck? It's just like you're not allowed into the party, all this sort of thing going on. So I hope they haven't been excluded from this, as that would not be very nice. So, or everyone just taking the gash and stuff like Grave Lords, I don't know. But yeah, so I like this. I think it's cool. I think it's more exciting than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was just a slight change to how Lookout Sir works, and just makes, in my opinion, shooting better, which I don't think is a good thing. This I'm much more happier with. And yeah, so the last thing it says is, if you're curious about what else new is coming for the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, make sure you sign up to the newsletter, because there'll be more stuff up every day, blah blah blah, which I'll try and cover best I can. But like I say, maybe a bit later like this one, because this one's probably not going up until about 10 o'clock your guys, well, I'll say your guys time, 10 o'clock UK, and that is about it. So apologies for all the yawning stuff. Basically, I just found all this boring. I wasn't interested, but you know, I was just tired basically. I don't know why I yawn so much, but here we are. If you did stick around to the end of the video, I presume you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do me an absolute favour and a delight, which would be smashing the fuck out of the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell notification. The reason why is the like button shows me that you guys enjoy this sort of content. So I know in this case, just like Warhammer New Edition, news, rules, all that sort of thing. It also helps me out on YouTube because YouTube looks and sees a lot of people liking this video, and hopefully it means it will recommend it to other people. By subscribing to the channel, it's how the channel grows. And really, if it wasn't for any subscribers, there would be no Age of Nagash as well. So like, by subscribing to the channel makes a huge difference. I know a lot of you guys do that, but a fifth of all of you guys who watch my channel subscribe. So the other 4/5 of you do more and subscribe to the channel. Honestly, it's free. It makes a huge difference. And by pressing the bell notification, what that means is you'll never miss a future video of mine. So if you're interested in all the news stuff, it means that you'll never miss my thoughts and my reviews on the news and anything else I'm doing as well. By pressing that bell notification means you won't miss those videos. And if you've got any more questions or anything like that, put that down in the comments, your speculations, what we could see. Let me know what heroes and monsters you're most excited to be using these new abilities with. And let me know if you like these new abilities as well, or you don't like them. So that's always good to hear, like, you know, mixture of opinion and stuff. I like them overall. I don't think they're ridiculously strong, but I don't think they're weak as well. I think some of them are clearly better than others, but I think there are at least one or two in each one that are really quite good. Like I'm just going to say that the Monstrous one, the raw, like I said, to try and stop your opponent using command points. And then when you, because it doesn't matter how many command points they've got, they just can't use it, right? And then the first one, which was the what I liked two in this one, didn't I? The heroic action ones. I like their finest hour and heroic leadership. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say heroic leadership is probably my favourite because I just love getting command points. But it sounds like we're going to get so many command points that maybe that won't be as necessary. So the finest hour will step in. But the healing, there's just so many options, and that's why I like it. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. If you think you know someone else who enjoy this video, make sure you share it with them. And if you would like to become part of the Age of Nagash community, make sure you check out the link to my Discord in the description of this video, where there's loads of conversations going on about Warhammer Age of Sigmar all the time. A lot at the moment is going on about painting and gaming and stuff, but a huge amount on the news for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. So if you're interested in all that, make sure you join on that link to my Discord down below. And there's loads of new people coming all the time. I think we're on, like I've been saying lately, like 270 people or something at the moment. It's a fantastic community, and we have so many people who are new to Age of Sigmar join, and they can ask any questions they want, and they get loads of help from the community here at Age of Nagash. So that's really cool if you'd like to do that. And what I'd like to say as well is, if you'd like to support the channel a step further, I have got a YouTube membership. So what does that mean? So if you click the join button next to the subscribe button, it allows you to become a member here in Age of Nagash, which means you can give anything from £1 a month, go straight towards the channel, and it keeps me going doing this. As like I said, it wasn't for my subscribers, there'd be no incentive to do these videos as you've got no subscribers, blah blah blah, no people watching your videos. What's the point? But it's the patrons and YouTube members who make me be able to justify making these videos, because there's so much time, effort, money, resources, and everything else that goes into making YouTube videos and having a YouTube channel, that if you looked at it at balance sheets, you're losing a lot of money doing this. But what these people show me is, if they're willing to support me on this much of a personal level, it allows me to be able to justify to myself to make this sort of content for you guys to hopefully enjoy best you can. And like I said, if you click the join button next to the subscribe button, it'll allow you to become one of these amazing people here who support me by just giving like £1 a month. Or if you click the link at the top of the description down below, it'll take you to my Patreon, where you can give just $1 a month. It goes straight towards the channel. It helps out exactly the same reasons. So my Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon is of course my top supporter, and as always, that is going to be Filq. So thank you again so much for your continued support, mate. That tier, as I always say, it's so generous to you. I honestly don't know how I can thank you enough, apart from giving you a shout out every time, because honestly, over the moon with that level of support. Thank you so much. And then my Morgast, who's Bleed Red, who's been a Morgast as well for a long time now, so thank you so much for that continued support, mate. And then my vampires, who are Mir, Stence, Rouse to let me start that again. My vampires who are Mir, Stence, Rouse321, David A, Ronni H, Darren L, SpareBear, Christopher H, Northdrop, Nathan F, Andrew G, Ben C, which are really, really good people. I know Ben, like I said, has recently decided to become a patron, so I want to say thank you very much for that as well. And a huge shout out to my vampires. I know a lot of you guys have been doing it for a long time. Like I know Mir's been a vampire for a definitely over a year. Like there's so much kind support there. So thank you so much for my vampires. And then my Necromancers, which is Jacq.l, RadiationRiley, AW77, Dice Sagas, WolfNick, Michal W, Cranky Wombat, Madcap, Christopher C, Christopher F, James S, Thomas B, Steve T, James T, Patrick F, JJ and R. Christopher. Thank you all so much for allowing me to keep this up and for supporting me so much on a personal level. It means the world to me. If any of you like to become, like I said, one of these amazing people, click the join button or the link to my Patreon down below. But if you can't do that, no worries at all. But if you could like the video, subscribe and smash the bell notification if you did enjoy this video, that would be amazing because the best part of that is absolutely free. But above really anything else, guys, I'm just really glad that you came and checked out this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry that I'm a bit basically tired. I've been out working in the sun all day, so I'm a bit tired, words all over the place, yawning all the time and all that sort of thing. But I hope you enjoyed the video despite all of that sort of stuff. I wanted to get a video out to you guys and this stuff because once I heard there was some news on the monsters and heroes, as someone who loves monsters, and heroes are alright, but you know, monsters are the main thing, I was like, I have to do a video on this, and wasn't disappointed, to be honest. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching this video. Remember until next time to stay safe, stay hygienic, make sure you wash your hands, and for God's sake wear a mask, so by the time you can play with your heroes and monsters on the table, you'll be safe to do so, hopefully in a controlled environment, face to face with your opponent, mask on, rolling dice, having a great time. But more importantly than all of that is remember until next time that Nagash is all, and all is one in Nagash. And to be honest, it was quite nice to talk about Nagash today, because usually I just say he's unplayable, and he may still be unplayable because of his points are so high, but the fact that his usefulness has maybe increased with the +1 to hit and +1 to wound, maybe there's open for conversation, but we'll see with that. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.